Hi, I want to talk to you today about Bitcoin, and actually not just Bitcoin, but the underlying technology that makes Bitcoin possible, which is the blockchain. I don't think a large majority of the people of the world understand just how radically momentous this new technology is. I didn't understand it until like 9 minutes ago. So I'm gonna make this video to help suss out some of those details and explain to you like what the heck are cryptocurrencies, why do they work, and why are they a lot bigger than we currently think. Decentralization. My name's Charlie. This is That Makes Sense to Me. This is just less videography, more thoughts. Today we're talking about the internet, decentralization of trust through the blockchain, Bitcoin mining and why it actually creates real value in the world, how no intermediaries will exist in the financial future of the universe, some of the ethical concerns of Bitcoin. We're not going to mention that, and then why the peer-to-peer exchange of value on the blockchain is going to fundamentally change the economy. Holy Moses, that's a lot of things, but we're just going to do it. If someone said to you, hey, I'm on Craigslist now, I'm a revolutionary, I understand the internet, like, you would be a little bit skeptical of them. Yes, Craigslist is good. Yes, Craigslist adds something of value to the universe. It's a real thing that matters, but mistaking Craigslist for the entirety of the internet is the exact same mistake that people are making now when they mistake Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for the entirety of the blockchain technology. Blockchain is so much bigger than Bitcoin, and it's the sooner that we understand that, the more we're going to understand the cultural implications of this new technology. What the blockchain is it is a decentralization of trust, and the way to wrap our heads around that is with an analogy. So back in the day, when there were not very many copies of books, whoever had the book controlled information. They were handwritten, they were expensive. Essentially, rich people had them. No one could learn to read because a small number of people controlled the flow of information because they controlled the books. When the printing press was invented, it helped to decentralize information flow. Because now there was just a greater mass availability of that information. There were more and more copies of the information available, and so it was less controlled by a small group of people. So in the invention of the printing press, and later with public libraries, and then later with the internet, information became decentralized. There are multiple copies of things floating around, and so there's less and less and less control by a small group of people over the flow of information. This process is analogous to how cryptocurrency mining works and how it's actually worth like real money, because the underlying technology of the blockchain is essentially that it is a large public ledger. It's just a data set that exists out there that is not in one server house. It's not sitting in Google's backyard. It's on many computers distributed all over the universe. And the important thing about this technology is that because it is a public ledger, and because it's in multiple locations, and because of the cryptographic technology that underlies it, it's almost impossible to hack it, because you'd have to get at every single computer, and then you'd have to break the cryptographic codes to change every single one of them, which is almost impossible. Now, quantum computing might change that, but for now. So, the process of maintaining this public ledger, the who has what information belongs to who has what money, that's a computationally intensive process. And volunteering your computer's processing power and internet connection to cryptographically maintain that data set, that one chunk of that public data set, it requires computational work. And because it requires computational work, if you pour electricity into doing it, you actually are creating value for the world. You're adding a security around the public ledger that is the blockchain, and in adding that security, you're creating something of value for the world. And that creation of value in the algorithms that underlie the blockchain causes you to get a monetary reward when you maintain it. That's called mining. Bitcoin mining is maintaining the public ledger, which requires computational work, for which you are rewarded by algorithms depending on a bunch of other variables that aren't important right now. So Bitcoin mining might feel like fake, because how can you mine with a computer? You literally are creating value for the world while you're doing that. Okay, so we talked about how the blockchain is bigger than Bitcoin, though. So I want to get into that right now. The reason that the blockchain is bigger than Bitcoin is, and there are like little examples of this that we can maybe talk about later, is that financial intermediaries soon will not need to exist. Currently, if you want to give someone money, you have to go through, like over digitally, you have to go through the chain of the centralized trust. Your bank, your centralized. So if you have to go to the banks, one bank is a centralized unit of trust, and another bank is another, and you have to go to one bank, and one bank has to communicate to the other, and the other bank has to communicate with the person, and then it's this long drawn out process wherein, like the printing press, prior to the printing press, everything was controlled by these two central entities, which is larger controlled by like the Fed and government stuff that's honestly beyond me, so I don't want to get into it. We won't need to go through intermediaries. And the reason that that's of crucial importance is because the current technology of how the internet makes money is through something which Steemit calls the attention economy. You create something of value, like a video or a tweet or a Facebook post, and then somebody else consumes that object of value. They look at it, they retweet it, they like it, they comment on it, or whatever. And this like creation of something of value and then consumption of something of value is just like the bank transfer. And what's currently occurring on the internet is that transaction of value in the attention economy is going through centralized financial systems, i.e. Google AdSense, Amazon affiliates, Twitter promotional stuff, all of that, Spotify ads, all that value from the creator of the content to the consumer of the content is being mediated through multiple systems that, kind of like the banks, are strongly connected to large corporate interests in a way that a lot of people are familiar with now. What the blockchain is going to do, because it's going to allow a person, instead of going through banks, to just directly send money back and forth to each other, is in the attention economy, we will actually no longer need to go through corporate intermediaries in order to have attention, information, transactions on the internet. If I create a blog post on, say, Steemit, which I learned about from Cold Fusion's videos, so corrected you in the last video, but thank you, your videos still rock. If I create that blog post that has value, and you read it, you don't have to bother going through a financial or advertisement intermediary. You can just directly thumbs up my thing, and I get value immediately. Do you have to pay to read my post? No, because the maintenance of the public ledger through the process of Bitcoin mining is creating value for the world in such a way that if everything gets split up right, then you can thumbs up something for free, and then I can make something, I can make real money from the content that I created. So just like let that sink in for a second. The internet itself, which was a massive decentralization of information and democratization of the media, wasn't really finished until the blockchain was created. Meaning, we've been able to decentralize information, we've been able to decentralize content creation, we've been able to decentralize content consumption, but we've not been able to decentralize value transactions. Those still occur through centralized trusts. Blockchain is changing that technology. Bitcoin might be the currency to do it. Ethereum might be the currency to do it. Who knows what the Bitcoin and blockchain could be the MySpace of the cryptocurrency space. There could be some bigger, better thing that comes along that is created with this understanding of the attention economy as part of its fundamental. And if that's the case, that's going to mean a radical shift for society and how it works. And I think that's part of why China just banned ICOs, because I think China is well, actually I heard they might have done it just to like lower the price of Bitcoin so that they could buy a bunch, because they know it's inevitable. But if they were to ban it, it would like really, and not just for publicity. They banned it because it's so fundamentally going to change how the economy works. There's a lot of things we didn't talk about. There are ethical concerns about privacy. There are ethical concerns about artificially intelligent, digitally autonomous organizations that could wreak havoc on dark corners of the economy in a way that like humans couldn't even understand until after the fact. There's a lot of things that still need to be worked out, and there's a lot of details around who polices this, how is it regulated, and like we do need to figure that out because it's going to be like radically important. But fundamentally, what I want to get at is that Bitcoin, I just did it, not Craigslist, the blockchain will allow peer-to-peer transactions of pure value, the pure value of content creation and the pure value of content consumption, that will radically shift how the internet works, how the economy works, and the role that big corporates have in shifting the information economy. That's all I have time for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, this channel is about philosophy of technology, philosophy of physics, bioethics. I make vlog videos about like philosophers that I'm reading as a way to understand them better. There's a lot. It's kind of a grab bag. I wear a lot of hats, but if you enjoyed it, thumbs up. If you didn't, the thumbs down button works too. I stole that from someone else. I can't remember who. And then please subscribe, please hit like, please share. It's a totally new channel, and that's really encouraging to me when I see the watch time go up and the shares and all this jazz. Like, that helps me see that this information economy in which I'm participating is actually creating value for the world. I might also post this video on Steemit or DTube or some of these others. I'll throw links down below. Hit that up, and if you hit like on there, you're not gonna pay YouTube, you're gonna just pay me. So cool. That's new. All right, thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye.